Yo, it's your boy JustJonavin. You are now tuned into Different in My Orbit, presented by Urban Creative Archives. You already know what it is. My name is JustJonavin. I do a lot of things. Initially, I am an artist. I produce, engineer, and write all my music. I also dabble in film. I've produced and directed a bunch of TV shows, and in the corporate world, I'm an editor. So if you need some editing, come to me. Well, like I said, initially I was like an artist, and like the first thing I ever did in the creative scene was like record myself on like YouTube beats, just like every other artist out there. It kind of like grew to what it is now because like I was in this position, like I wanted to like collab with people, and I just wanted to get beats from people, and then it's like nobody would give me beats, so I just had to make my own beats. And then it's just like I'm a perfectionist, so like once you like record yourself, I just didn't like how it sounded, so I'm like I gotta like engineer. And then like at that point it's just like I just kept going. Honestly, it wasn't really any moment of like me thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I just like to be good at things, and like so I just kept pushing and just kept practicing. And then it just got to a point where like, yeah, now my music is good, but like I don't have anything to promote myself, so now I gotta get into film. So initially I got into film because I wanted to like make music videos, but I really wanted not even make music videos. I just wanted to film myself, really, just so I can make content really on the basics form. But I during that journey of learning how to use cameras and just learning different things, I like got into producing TV shows, and I produced two TV shows last year: a men's mental health show called Breaking the Stigma, and my own docu-series called What Does It Mean to Be an Artist. And then kind of from that journey just led me to making content consistently, music videos, whatever I need at the time. So that's pretty much how I got to here. The main thing that drives me to create is just like I just want to be good at what I do, honestly. Like I think that's the main thing that like keeps me pushing. Like I just don't like being like average at things. I don't know, it's just like I don't want to say it's pride or anything, but I just think it's just in my nature to just go like 1,000% at the things I do. And when I first started creating, people just nobody ever told me I was like bad at it. So I guess that just kept pushing me to just keep going, just because I just wanted to be great at it. But now it's just more so about like starting and finishing projects, really. Like I just get a kick out of that, like producing just whatever it is, whether it's music, my own content, somebody else's content. It doesn't really matter. It's just what keeps me going. Initially, like the main challenge that I think every creative goes throughout their journey, the first really big obstacle is like creating the resources for yourself, or just like putting yourself in position to like get the access. So I think at the beginning it was that. Then it started turning into like, okay, well, you make music and you're good at it, but you also do videos and you're not really that good at it. So now you gotta like do music less to be better at videos. And then it like gets to a point where you get good at stuff, especially in the video world, where like now people hiring you to do stuff. So then it's like finding the time to create what I want to create. Like when I have the energy was like a big like barrier that I had to get over. At least like this past year, I think I kind of just getting over it now. Like just that anxiety of not creating and then going to create again. But now I think it's just my main obstacle is like just finding creative ways to distribute my art in a way that's consistent and feasible, not just financially, but really just like time and energy wise, because we all have these goals to being like super consistent and like super persistent, and just you know being 100% like every day. But in reality you just not. So you just gotta, like, as an artist, you gotta learn how to deal with the ups and downs of your energy and the flow, and like noticing when it's okay to just do regular life stuff, and then noticing when it's just okay to like, okay, let's just ride this wave right now. But that's what I think were all my main obstacles up until this point. The main thing I really want people to take from my work, I just want people to understand that I guess a lot that goes into just being the present person that I am, but just like any artist, because I think a lot of people's perception of me is like, he does a lot of stuff. He might do it good or bad, whatever, but I'm just always doing stuff. And then I just want people to understand, like, it's just a lot that goes into that, and it's just not like a wake up and like let's just do it type of thing. It's like really just real hours that go into just being like proficient at something, not even talking about like the top tier level. So I just really hope people understand that, and they appreciate my art when they understand that more. To be honest, for me, incorporating feedback is like something that I think every great artist like is looking for that like positive constructive criticism. I think like you get to a point where it's like your peers around you, they like can't produce at the level that you can, meaning like you just grown past a lot of people that you start with when it comes to this, and it's like you can't necessarily ask them for advice because they love your stuff so much that they just think it's good, or they just think it's the peak of art. But like in reality, like me, I really try to like search for constructive criticism and stuff that's just gonna push me to get better. And I think the ways that I incorporate it in my art is that I think now, since I've made so much music, and it's like it's hard for me to really like sit by myself and like make music unless it's like, okay, I'm about to stream or something like that. But I realize that it's a lot easier for me to make music once I'm around like peers who I trust their judgment and their art, because like a lot of times I tell people like my perception of like a lot of things is just cooked, because like I do it so much. It's like I sometimes I don't know what's good and what's bad, and a lot of times the stuff that I think I don't like, people be love. They love. So I think that's why like in this era of my music, it's just important for me to be around people whose perception on creating art I really value, because that just makes my creative process easier when I'm around them to just create and like just freely and like fluently. Measuring the success of a creative project is something that you have to do. Like you have to be reflective when it comes to how you evaluate what success is to you. To me, I try not to overcomplicate it. Like I just try to think like, okay, if I started, especially when it comes to music and songwriting, like when I started, I gotta finish the song. Like I'm not gonna start it and stop halfway through. Like especially with music, because a lot of times with music it's like you might make it in 2021, but it don't come out in 2025. It's still a good song, but that's just the regular process of it a lot of times. So it's like I don't want to have to go back to a half-finished song, because 9 times out of 10 that just decreases the chances of it coming out. So to me, it's just whatever I start, I try to finish. Like that's just the basis, and then from there, it's like how do I feel when I'm creating it? Like if this is something that is just like a overwhelming like positive feeling, then I know like I'm either getting closer to a success, or like I've reached that peak and I need to just follow that path. Because like I said, you always have to like evaluate and reevaluate what success is for you, just so that you can just keep that fire when you create it. Pulling inspiration is, that journey I feel like for me has been like somewhat difficult like in the past year, because like I created like so much. Like it's easier for me to get inspired with like when I'm editing, because I'm still fairly new to like production and stuff like that. But like gathering inspiration to just create musically is just sometimes hard. But I think the best thing for me is, like I said, is just surrounding myself with hungry like artists that's just like they want to create, or they just in that space of like they're creating at their peak level right now, because that in itself like just really pushes me and just makes me like, all right, let me get on that same type of level that they on right now. And I think that's like been the main source of inspiration for me right now. um Outside of that, just like everyday experiences, honestly, I feel like when I'm creating, I oftentimes create from like a subconscious, and it's just like a lot of stuff that I might say or do I don't necessarily have too much control over in the moment, but I try to pull from everyday experiences as much as I can, and just like whatever I'm feeling, to be honest, like whatever I'm feeling, I always got something to say. So it's just like whenever that moment's come, I know it's like, okay, I need to make a record, or I need to get back in and start editing. It's, I think, over time, and this is not something that like I would like recognize at the beginning, but as you get better and better, you work on stuff like less and less time wise, because you just naturally get better and your workflow just gets better. To me, I always felt like, and even now saying that, I still like feel super weird about it, because it's like I'm so used to like coming from a space. Like I remember when I first started making music, I would make music like all day, like non-stop. Like my roommates, like they know me, I'm gonna play the music loud, I'm gonna be cooking up, I'm not really gonna care about nothing else. But like now, I just find myself like just living more, and it take me to something like one of my favorite producers had taught me. His name is 97 now. His It used to be called Produced by Me, but now it's called 97. And during COVID, that was like when I first started like really making music like at another level. And he used to live in Philly before he moved back home to Houston. But he was told me about like my writing. He was like, bro, like you gotta live more. Like you just like try to stop yourself from living certain like experiences, but in order to be like a great artist, you gotta like experience things. So, and I think like that, like to this day, like I think about that when I'm like in a rut. So 9 times out of 10, I'm probably in a rut because I'm not experiencing stuff, or I'm not taking everything in on a day-to-day basis as I need to be a good artist. Every project has its challenges. I think the hardest challenge to overcome in general is to just stay motivated throughout the process, because and it becomes evident in a song, because when you recording a song, that initial feeling, it don't matter if you making a reference, you making a real words is coming out your mouth, or you just cooking up a beat and you still in the starter phase. You will feel that like peak euphoria like as soon as you hear that note that you've been looking for, and then it's like from there it only gets worse. It only like goes down from there, and it's like you still might like the song, but like everybody gonna be listening to it and like bobbing, and you just gonna be like, all right, yo, I'm trying to go on to the next one. But just like staying motivated is like the main like obstacle that occurs like through every project, because at least for me, I'm the type of person where like at this point I don't even really like planning too much, because there's no real reason to plan, because you can only plan to an extent. But like especially like when I'm planning something, or I want something to go a certain way, and like as soon as that joint like don't go how I needed to go, I'll be the type of person where I'll be like ready to just chalk it. But you gotta like remind yourself like all the time, like we all are measured in this lane, we all are measured on how much we produce and how well we can produce. And then oftentimes that the elite level is how fast and how often you can do it. So it's just like when I start thinking like I'm about to lose motivation, I just always say you just gotta see it through, like with anything, or it's just what we doing it for? We might as well all just try to be financial assistance or something, because you just gotta produce like in this lane. So that's just how I look at it. I feel like I like am in every lane like already. I will say like I definitely been wanting to get into fashion more, and I feel like I'm opening up to it, and I'm doing a lot more projects centered around fashion, which I'm grateful for, because up like past this year it's never been anything I really cared about. I definitely want to get into like making more gospel music when the time is right, just because that's just something I want to do. Um, Outside of that, not too much, cause yeah, not too much. The main advice that I would give someone that's wanting to be a creative is you really gotta understand and know what you want. Um, and me telling you that, I'm still telling myself that, because it's times like last week where you just literally have to think about and really like think about what you want out of whatever you're trying to do, because you're going to get a lot of opportunities and it's going to be a lot of great ideas that you have, but you really just got to think about what you want and what you can do. And then the next advice that I would give somebody is you got to be comfortable making something out of nothing or very little, because I think a lot of people, they spend too much time or waste too much time on like what they have and what they don't have, as opposed to like making good with everything that they have around them. It just takes a little bit more time to think again about what you want and what you want to do. And I think like I'm super inspired by like artists who might, want to do a record and they like recording on like a band lab on their phone and stuff, because it's like I always laugh, because I remember when I would literally record all my songs on my phone just so I can like have a reference and write, so that when I eventually got to the equipment I could just lock in and make the record. So I understand that, and I used to really get mad at artists when I just would be like, why you not prepared? You might as well just record it on your phone real quick, come to the stew, now you ready, because that's what I used to do. That's what people doing every day. So it's like, that's what I would say, is just make sure you understand how to utilize what you have and to make great stuff out of it, but then also understand what you want, but then also just follow through for sure. What makes me different in my orbit is the fact that I'm literally willing to give like 1,000,000% on like everything that I do. Like that's just it. I feel like a lot of people have this trait of like coming up with beautiful ideas, or they just have this trait of like being in it like halfway, and then once they get to like a moment, it's just like, bro, they gone now. So I feel like one thing that makes me different is just the fact like I'm really standing on all my ideas and I'm trying to just like see them through. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at JustJonavin, JustJonavin. I'm also on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Make sure y'all check me out there. Same name, JustJonavin, JustJonavin. I just dropped a new single called Somewhere. Make sure y'all check it out.